Hello.
Hello, how you doing? What's
I'm
new?
good. How are you this week?
Doing fine. I didn't even hear the little countdown.
Oops, I forgot the countdown.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about that. I've been suffering a massive headache today, and so my brain is not where it should be. So I forgot the countdown. I apologize for that.
Yeah, 'cause I gotta do my little dance, make a little noise.
Uh, but we are live. How are you this week?
I am okay. Tired.
Uh, Anything exciting or supernatural happened this week?
No, not really.
I know our researcher Shauna sent me a couple of articles that I'm going to post in the group and on our website regarding
Hmm.
UFOs. Those are pretty interesting. But if you are watching on YouTube or Twitch, make sure you like and subscribe. And on YouTube, hit the notifications so you know when we go live.
Hmm.
If you're listening to a replay on Apple Podcast or Spotify or any of those, we do ask that you rate us. And what kind of rating do we like?
We like a 5 star. A one, a two, a three, a four, a five.
Yes,
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco.
we do like 5 stars, but we'll take
This
whatever
clock
you
at sink. Ich
we'll
ni
take.
san chi. Ich ni san chi yo loco.
Yes, we do. Um, we'll take whatever you give us, but if you do leave a review, we do read reviews on air. No matter how much, if we suck, tell us we suck, but in a nice and friendly way. Is that
Yes,
correct?
that is correct.
Yes. So, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, last week we did just sort of a whimsical journey of life in the beautiful city of Roswell, New Mexico. We know that the citizens there embrace the supposed crash of the alien ship back in 1947, and that ship being not from here. We also know that at our previous conversations, there are rumors about government cover ups, conspiracies, theories about the alleged wrecks, and a round of where that crash might have been taken. Tonight, tonight, it's just gonna be just tonight. We're going to be discussing, discuss. We'll be talking about the one of the agencies that have helped lead to disinformation and speculation of what's really out there, misgivings and secret cabals of which borderline on the tinfoil hat community and the crazy nut guys into different playing fields. Now that's kind of strange because you're always going to group together the true believer and the crazy nut guys together. But this topic right here is kind of a thin line between the crazy nut jobs and the true believer. And what we're going to be talking about is, ladies and gentlemen, we want to keep with an open mindedness, and we do like to keep this as a conversation piece, not merely stating any facts, just presenting the information. Tonight's topic is the Majestic 12, or let's call it the MJ-12.
Yes, this
Because it's
isn't.
the thriller of the night. Nobody. Okay, we have to stop that before I get sued.
Yeah, this is a new one for me. I've never heard of the Majestic 12. I, unlike you, I don't really follow alien conspiracies that much. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. But like you said, we do try to focus on the true believer and the skeptic point of view, as well as the crazy nut guys as she playing it out. Um, I know a friend of ours. I was hoping she would be here tonight. She said she wanted to, but she says she did hear about this organization when she was in the military. Um, but I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully, she'll chime in and give us her thoughts. But Speculation surrounding this existence and the nature of, as you pointed out, MJ12 or Majestic 12 has been a topic of conspiracy theories and speculations for several decades. According to the lore, it is believed to be a secret committee formed by the United States government in 1947, way back when. And it was to oversee and manage extraterrestrial related activities. Right. Okay.
Okay, yep.
Sorry, my husband's a little loud tonight. Apologize for his woohooing.
Sorry.
The origins of this concept can be tracked back to alleged, quote unquote, alleged classified documents that surfaced in the late 80s. Now, these documents claimed to be official government records that discussed establishment of a secret group called the MJ12. So I'm assuming that, was 12 people that were a part of this.
Rumor.
Well, they were tasked with investigating and concealing evidence of UFOs, aka UFOs, and extraterrestrial or ET contact. Now, the men that created this organization were President Harry Truman and his VP, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
I like Ike.
You like Ike?
I like Ike.
Wasn't that his slogan?
Yes, that was his slogan for presidential.
Ah, okay. Yes, and again, this was to oversee and manage the activities of the extraterrestrials. So, like, were they like party planners for ETs, or what kind of activities were they managing? It's like the what is it? The intergalactical party planners.
They might have been because the speculations about the creation often revolves around these possible theories of their activities. They were into extraterrestrial contacts that speculate that the MJ12 was formed to handle government's interactions and secret collaborations with extraterrestrial beings. The theory suggests that the community was responsible for studying and concealing the evidence of sightings, alien encounters, and advanced technologies. National security and secrecy. Another theory is that proposes that the MJ12 were related to potential threats posted by the extraterrestrial intelligence or advanced technologies. It is also suggested that the communities maintain security, assess the potential risk, and devise a strategy to ensure the United States maintained a strategic advancement. Technology acquisitions and research also is another theory that suggests that the MJ12 were created to facilitate the acquisition and research of crash sightings as well as donated saucers. They oversee the possibly working on adverse reverse engineering of the recovered crafts and development of classified projects related to an automated propulsion system, energy sources, or weaponry.
Now, was that crafts, like spacecrafts, or craps?
Crafts, as in spacecrafts, as in aircrafts.
Oh, okay, so not craps.
No.
They weren't picking up the whatever was left behind
Well, they may have been picking up the crappy crafts.
Now, the alleged founders of the MJ12 or Majestic 12 were Rear Admiral Roscoe H. Hillenkotter, who was the first director of the CIA. And he also reportedly, again, quote unquote, served as the first MJ12 director. We also have Dr. Vannevar Bush, who was a prominent American engineer, inventor, and science admin who played a significant role in the creation and development of the atom bomb. Eesh. Not a great guy, I guess.
No, and Vanderveer, I think, is also related to George W.
Oh, that might be something to look into.
Hmm.
We also have James V. Forrestal, who
Hmm.
was the first U.S. Secretary of Defense. And according to the documents, he was included with this, as well as General Nathan F. Twining. And he was a highly regarded military officer who served as Chief of Staff to the United States Air Force, as well as General Hoyt S. Vanderberg, who was the Chief of Staff of the Air Force and later was director of the CIA as well. Dr. Detlev Bronk was an influential scientist who specialized in the biophysics and was a prominent figure in the field of medical research. And then finally, Dr. Jerome Hunsaker, who was an aeronautic engineer and was an academic who contributed to the development of aviation technology.
Now, I just want to clarify that these aren't all of the men. These are just the confirmed, rumored. I mean, they've actually thrown a couple other people back and forth into it. That Alan Jane Hynek may or may not been, but you know, just these are the people that every time you look up are the top 7 people that are in that. Now, interesting to note that these men all had ties to the early days of the CIA, also known as the OSS, Office of Strategic Security. Further down the hole we go that these men are also experts in aerodynamics leaders in the respective branches of the military. If we look deeper into that, shall we look deeper into that hole, I should say, Alice, into that white rabbit hole?
Why not? We've already gone this far.
Alrighty, I'm gonna just 3 people that uh, little mini bios on the 3 people on 3 certain people. Now, Rear Admiral Roscoe H. Hilton Cotter was a highly respected and accomplished military officer who served in the United States Navy and had key positions in intelligence and national security. He was born May 8th, 1897, in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, the Rear Admiral had a distinguished career in the Navy beginning in 1919 when he graduated from the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis. He specialized in naval aviation and served as a Navy aviator during World War I. Over the years, he had several assignments related to aviation, including serving that as a test pilot and participating in the development of the naval aviation doctrines.
Now, one of Helen Cotter's significant contributions came during World War II. Sorry, words hard.
Mhm.
This is where he played a pivotal role in the establishment and operations of the Navy's anti submarine war efforts. He served as the commander of the escort carrier USS Hornet and was later the chief of staff for the U.S. Atlantic Fleet. Now, I'm sure you, being a Navy man, you are aware of the Hornet and its history.
Mhm.
He also received numerous commendations and awards for his services during this period. Now, after the war, Helen Cotter's career took a turn toward intelligence and national security matters. In 1947, he was appointed as the director of the CIA, and played a crucial role in shaping the CIA during its early years and establishing its mission and structure. During his tenure as director, he faced numerous challenges, including the onset of the Cold War and the escalating tensions with the Soviet Union.
Overall, the Rear Admiral had a notable career in the United States Navy and served in influential positions relating to intelligence and national security. His contributions during World War II and his role as the first director highlights his dedication to the country's defense and his involvement in key historical moments. Sadly, he passed away on June 18, 1982. Now, Dr. Vannevar Bush was an influential American engineer, inventor, and scientific administrator who made significant contributions to the field of engineering, science, and technology. He was born March 11, 1890, in Everett, Massachusetts. Bush received his education in Tufts College and later earned his doctorate in engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, also known as MIT. He began his career as a professor of MIT and conducted his pioneering work in electrical engineering and electronics.
Ah, yes, the famous MIT. Anyone who has anything to do with science or technology covets getting into this high um, this school. I actually have a friend whose daughter applied and unfortunately didn't make it,
Mhm.
but it was her dream to go there. Instead, she's going to school in, I think, Cincinnati. They have a very good technical school there as well. But during World War II, Bush played a crucial role in scientific and technological advancements. He served as the head of the Office of Scientific Research and Development, also known as OSRD. This is a government agency responsible for coordinating scientific research efforts during war. Under his leadership, the OSRD oversaw projects such as the development of radar, the atomic bomb, and, believe it or not, early computers. Yes, there were computers available way back during this time of World War II. However, they were not the little bitty home computers that we use nowadays, but more like huge computers that took up an entire room. Sorry, I gotta look at my
Buildings.
screen. It's annoying me. I'm sorry?
Buildings.
Buildings. Yes, one of Bush's notable achievements was his concept of the mimics. This was a hypothetical information retrieval system that he proposed in a 1945 article that was titled As We May Think. The mimics foreshadowed many aspects of modern hypertext and the internet. So, yes, this back in 1945, they were already foreshadowing the internet. Maybe not as we see it today, but they did have something in mind for it. And it also laid out the foundation for future developments in computer science and IT. Now, after the war, Bush became a prominent advocate for science and technology. He did play a key role in the establishment of the National Science Foundation, also known as the NSF. Yes, we've all heard of the NSF and how they're spying on us.
No, that's NSA. NSF is usually when usually if you watch stuff like Nova or other shows, that they are the proud supporters on the PBS.
What
Funding
about
for process is from the National Science
what about 321 Contact? That was a good one.
That was also part of the Science Foundation.
Uh, well, in 1950, Bush was its first chairman. He also served as a scientific advisor to several USA presidents. These
Now,
included,
Joe, Mr. Lunchbox, don't you know we've got to calm it down? We've got a prominent NSF, not NSA, Joe.
okay, well, he did serve as an advisor to several US presidents, including F.D. Roosevelt and Truman himself. Throughout his career, Dr. Vannevar Bush made significant contributions to the fields of engineering, science, and technology. And his work during World War II, as well as his vision for information retrieval systems, has had a lasting impact on scientific research, technological advancements, and also the development of modern computing. Now, he did pass away June 28th of 1974, and the last man on the list that we would want to discuss is Admiral James Vincent Forrestal. So why don't you tell us about Mr. Forrestal, or should
I'd
I
be more
say
than
Admiral?
Admiral Forrestal actually does have a battleship named after him in the annals of naval history. He was an American statesman and military leader who served as the first United States Secretary of Defense, mind you. Yeah, he was born February 15th, 1892, in Matawan, New York. It's now known as Beacon. I guess that didn't like the name Matawan.
I guess not. Well, Matawan sounds like more of an Indian name, so they probably wanted to give it something more white man.
Uh,
Taking
right,
that land again from the natives.
might be. Now, Forrestal attended Dartmouth College and later graduated from Princeton University. He started his career in finance and investment banking, but eventually turned his attention to public service. During World War II, he served as Undersecretary to the Navy, where he played a crucial role in mobilizing the Navy for the war effort. In 1947, President Harry S. Truman appointed Forrestal as his first, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first Secretary of Defense when the Department of Defense was created. As Secretary of Defense, Forrestal was responsible for overseeing the
Consolidation.
consolidation of the armed forces in a single unified department. He played a vital role in shaping the structure and policies of the newly formed Department of Defense and the National Security Council. So this was a man that was very much highly regarded, highly respected, and highly motivated to serve the American public as well as the government.
Now, he did face numerous challenges during his tenure as Secretary of Defense. This included post war demobilization, the establishment of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also known as we know it, NATO, and also the early stages of the Cold War. He advocated for a strong national defense and worked to strengthen military preparedness and capabilities.
Now,
However,
however, does this sound like just getting a little bit off topic? Does this sound like a man that you would just once you go in just going to the next paragraph, reading it through, do you feel like this man uh, well, read the next paragraph and think about it.
Okay. Basically, I get what you're saying. It sounds like this is a pretty steady man. He was Secretary of Defense. He, worked with the establishment of NATO. He did some pretty amazing things. However, Forrestal's tenure as Secretary of Defense was marked by personal struggles. These included the declining of his mental health. In 1949, he resigned from his position due to exhaustion and having a mental breakdown. Tragically, a few months after his resignation, on May 22nd, 1949, Forrestal was hospitalized and died under controversial circumstances. His death was officially ruled as a suicide,
Now,
although
this is what they kind of view his death as a suicide. He fell out of a locked hospital window.
he could have picked the lock. Somebody could have left it unlocked. I mean, we never
He,
know.
rumor has it it was a Dr. Kevorkian type of suicide. It was assisted, which is why the controversy.
Interesting. His contributions as the first Secretary of Defense were significant in establishing the Department of Defense and shaping the defense policies of the United States during a critical period. His commitment to national security and his efforts to strengthen the military laid in the groundwork for subsequent defense leaders and policies.
Rumor
Uh,
has it also, going back to Mr. Forrestal, he was very close and very tied with John F. Kennedy Sr., who was president back in 1960. So,
Interesting. Now, this is very interesting. Well, this is a topic for another time, but it's
mhm,
interesting that we have another Kennedy possibly running for president.
yes.
But we don't want to get into politics. I just find that very interesting.
No, and when we do when we do politics, we poke fun at all candidates. It doesn't matter if Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or you know.
Yes. Now, continue.
Now that we know a little bit more to the confirmed names of the list of possible gentlemen in question, we ask ourselves how did we find out about this Majestic 12, Magic 12, uh, MJ 12 controversy? Well, let's go back to those glamorous rocking days of the 1980s with three men: William Moore, Stanton Freeman, and Jamie Shandera. These were the three whistleblowers that brought forward the information.
So,
Now,
is this kind of like a we're not going to take it?
no, this was more or less a something strange in the neighborhood.
Interesting.
I mean, Jamie Shandera was a filmmaker and UFO researcher who gained prominence in the 1980s for his involvement in investigating and publishing the MJ12 documents. Born on October 28, 1949, he and Bill Moore received a package from an unknown source, including a photocopied pages of alleged classified documents, including what became known as the MJ12 documents. Now, just to clarify, Jamie and Bill received the information, not, you know, each got separate envelopes, is what I'm trying to say, from this unknown source. Now, the document purportedly detailed the existence of a secret government community formed by President Harry S. Truman in 1947 to handle matters related to the extraterrestrial visitations, crashed UFOs, and the study of recovered UFO technologies. Jamie Moore, and along with Dr. Friedman, pursued this alleged documents, which contained classified briefing papers, meeting minutes, and memos. Now, they did have what the three names that reported floating around were Admiral Hitchcocker, Nathan Tweeling, and Forstall.
Hmm. Now, Bill Moore was an American author, a researcher, and a prominent figure in the ufology and conspiracy theories. He was born May 30th, 1943 in San Francisco. Excuse me. He passed away on April 10th of 2010. He became known in the UFO community in the 80s due to his involvement in investigating and promoting alleged government UFO cover-ups. So he was a conspiracy theorist himself, it sounds like.
Hmm.
Um,
But
he,
he was more into the UFO cover up as opposed to the government's, secretly, you know,
okay. Um, he
he was a
gained
different tin hat guy.
ah, he gained significant attention for his role in the publication of the controversial documents for the MJ-12. This claimed the existence of a secret government committee overseeing extraterrestrial matters, as we've already pointed out. Sorry, lost my place. Let me get
Okay.
back. Be just a moment here. Ba-ba-da, da-da-da-da-da. In 1980, Moore co authored the book The Roswell Incident. Dun dun dun!
Dun 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 dun. Okay.
This was co written with Charles Berlitz, and it explored the alleged crash of a UFO near Roswell, New Mexico, as we talked about before, back in 1947. The book helped popularize the Roswell incident and it brought it into mainstream UFO lore. So Bobby Jack was out there, found this UFO, and the rest was history.
Yep. He was a ranch foreman.
Yes.
Now, however, Moore's most notable involvement came in 1984 when he received a package, same as Jamie, uh, about the alleged classified documents relating to a secret community. Uh, Moore publicized the MJ-12 documents, which claimed to be a USO government was involved with covering up. His uh, his affair with it was significant as he worked to authenticate and disseminate the alleged documents. However, as time went on, questions arose regarding the authenticity and uh, many experts and researchers deemed the hoaxes or fabrications. Moore himself acknowledged inconsistencies in the documents and expressed doubt in the authenticity in later years. Apart from his involvement, Moore continued to research and write on UFOs. He co authored books with uh, such as the Philadelphia Experiment and the Roswell Dig Diaries. Moore also collaborated with other prominent researchers in the field, including Richard Doty and Linda Moulton Howe. I would love to meet Linda Moulton Howe and just sit back and, as Paul Poe used to say, have a cold one with her, just to have a general conversation with her.
I'm not sure who that person is, but I'm sure we'll
She's a
find out.
very sweet lady.
Uh, Now, Bill Moore's contributions to the UFO and conspiracy theory community have left a lasting impact. While his involvement with MJ12's documents was controversial, he did play a significant role in shaping public perception and generating interest in UFO cover up conspiracies. His work does continue to be discussed and debated within the realm of ufology. Yes, there is a study of UFOs called ufology. Dr. Stanton T. Friedman, often referred to as the father of modern ufology, was a prominent American Canadian nuclear physicist, researcher, and author. He was born on July 29th, 1934, in Elizabeth, New Jersey. He passed away May 13th, 2019, so
Now,
just a few years ago.
right. I also want to stress the fact that Stanton Friedman, being a nuclear physicist and researcher and uh, having a doctorate in nuclear fission, was the one of the nicest, most approachable persons that I've heard about. I have never got to meet the guy, but from friends of mine who actually met him, say that he was had a little bit of a quick sense of humor and always there with a smile.
Hmm. He did have a background in nuclear physics, having obtained his bachelor's and master's in physics from the University of Chicago. Ah, Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. He's from the SCTV lad.
Yes, shout out to our good friends in Chicago, Ghostly podcast.
Hmm.
Um, Also, Friedman worked on various classified nuclear research projects for several companies, including GE, aka General Electric, Westinghouse, and McDonnell Douglas.
In the late 1960s, Friedman's interest shifted to the study of UFOs and extraterrestrial phenomenon. Do, 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 do,
Phenomenon. Do,
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 do.
do. He began one of his leading figures in research and investigation. Friedman's also known to his meticulous approach to the sightings and alleged government cover-ups. He lectured extensively on the subject, presenting his findings and analysis at conferences and universities and at media outlets worldwide. One of his most notable contributions was the involvement in, of course, the Roswell incident, uh, doing extensive interview witnesses and scrutinizing official documents relating to the incidents, presenting his findings in books and lectures. Stanton was advocating for the idea that the Roswell incident involved the crash of an extraterrestrial spacecraft and argued against the official explanation that attributed it to a weather balloon.
It was a weather balloon.
Uh,
That's what it looked like to me. Just saying.
I know. He was also involved in the study of the government secrecies surrounding UFOs. His role in publication of the controversial MJ12 documents, which claimed uh, the existence of a secret committee overseeing extraterrestrial matters. While he initially supported the authenticity of the MJ12 documents, in his later life he acknowledged that there are certain doubts about the validity. In fact, later on he said they might have been fake.
There you go. Maybe somebody just, playing devil's advocate.
Maybe.
Maybe somebody reached out to him and coerced him to say
Maybe.
it was fake.
Maybe.
Never know.
Never know. I mean, this is coming from someone who doesn't believe in UFOs.
Yes. Just playing devil's advocate.
Yep. Maybe.
Now, Top Secret Magic is a book written by Stanton Friedman and Don Berliner. It was published in 96, and it explores various aspects of the UFO phenomenon. Come on, I'm waiting.
Do, 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 do.
And alleged government involvement in UFO related matters.
It doesn't work that well if you like, come on, I'm waiting.
Well, I mean, it's our thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. The title Magic is a reference to the controversial MJ12 documents, which claimed the existence of a secret committee, as we've discussed already. In Top Secret Magic, Friedman and Berlin delve into the history of UFO sightings, government investigations, and alleged cover ups. They examine cases such as the Roswell incident, the sightings of unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Do, 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 do.
These
See,
phenomena,
that's when it works.
these were by military personnel and other UFO related incidents. Now, I do know some people in the military who have told me that they have seen things up there flying, and some people say that they're not allowed to discuss them. Others say you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Or if I tell you, I have to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I believe them. I mean, sorry, I know they're my friends, but I'm still kind of on the fence about the whole UFO thing. But I have heard stories from military people saying they've seen stuff while flying. The authors of Top Secret Magic provide their analysis, and they often question official explanations and advocating for a more thorough investigation into the UFO phenomenon.
Do, 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 do.
The book also delves into the alleged MJ12 documents. Now, Friedman and Berliner discuss the origin, the content, and significance of these documents, and they present their research and findings. They also explore the implications of the purported secret committee and its role into the alleged cover up of ET contact. Yes, they tell us if the little green man, were covered up allegedly or not.
Okay. Now, Top Secret slash Majestic gained an attention within the UFO community and the broader public due to exploration of the UFO related topics and the inclusion of the information regarding the MJ12 documents. Noteworthy to all stated that these three men later basically disavowed the papers because of certain inconsistencies, which are as follows. The document's formats and language used in the MJ12 papers have raised suspicion. Some of the terminology and phrasing appear anachronistic, suggesting that the documents were created as a later date than claimed. The document's layout and font style have also been noted as inconsistent with the era they've reported to be originating from.
Maybe they were rewritten because it was hard to read.
Maybe. Signatory inconsistencies. The alleged signatories of the MJ documents include prominent military and government officials. However, the inconsistencies have been scientific in stating that the names, ranks, and positions of some individuals listed were found to be serving in different positions or branches of the military during this time that the documents were privately created. Classification markings. The classification on the MJ12 papers have been questioned. Some experts have noted that the specific markings and formatting used are not consistent with the typical government classification practices. This has raised doubts about the authenticity and the document's classification status.
There's also lack of external corroboration. In other words, the information presented in the MJ12 papers do lack external corroboration from reliable and independent sources. While the documents refer to significant events, such as the alleged recovery of crashed UFOs, the absence of supporting evidence or testimonies from other witnesses or documents diminishes their credibility. There's also the absence of original documents, meaning that the papers are photocopied and do not include the original papers. This absence of the originals makes it challenging to verify their source, their origin, and the chain of custody, meaning, whose hands have they been in and where did they begin from? Also, several individuals have come forward claiming involvement in creating and disseminating the MJ12 papers as a deliberate hoax to trick those who are interested in ufology and conspiracy theories. These claims, although disputed by some, they do add to the skepticism surrounding the documents. While we'll never know if this organization does exist or not, we do still try to grasp and understand the legends, the myths, and the stories behind the UFO, or as some like to call it today, as you pointed out before, UAP phenomenon. We do not make any claims that the Majestic 12 is alive today or that it ever existed. We have always just, as always, we just present the information and open it up to conversation for our viewers and listeners. So, let us know in the comments. Do you think the MJ12 exists, or is it just an elaborate hoax? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yes.
I think, if the government during the Cold War would, it might have been, if there were such a thing as the MJ12, it may or may not have been something as a product of disinformation or misinformation, because we once after the end of World War II became the Cold War between Russia. And so that may have been something that may or may not have been a way for us to mess with the Russians, or the Soviets, I should say.
Personally, my thoughts, I'm not into the whole UFO conspiracy. I do not believe in UFOs. I do not think our government would waste time looking into something like this when there's so many threats here on this planet from other, countries and things to look into. So I seriously doubt this would have been created. I think it's just a waste of the government's time. And I don't think that they would have wasted that time. But next week, we will be discussing Men in Black. And no, Will Smith will not be included in that.
Neither will Tommy Lee Jones.
Or Josh Brolin.
Or Michael Jackson.
That really was him?
Yes, it was.
It was not a look-alike, but we will discuss that next week as we discuss the Men in Black. And are they really there to stop us from talking about these conspiracies?
Or are they there just to escort the alien population in here, creating more illegal aliens into the process?
Yes, we will discuss this next week at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. That's 7:30 Mountain, 6:30 Pacific. And if you have anything you'd like for us to talk about, if you'd like to share any stories, like if you've seen a UFO or anything like that, you can always email us at info@skepticpsychic.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we invite everybody to have a wonderful week. And we look forward to talking to you next Sunday.
And unpleasant nightmares.
Sweet dreams, everybody. Good